What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and in one of my recent videos, somebody commented that I should do an account reveal. So I'm gonna do exactly that, and you're probably gonna learn some of my secrets along the way. I'm going to show you everything from my roster to interesting hybrids, the equipment that I use, the teams that I've built, companions, my districts, and of course, the Guardian Stone. So let's dive in. But first, download Dungeon Hunter 6, a mobile free-to-play action RPG game where you play as a bounty hunter in a stunning dark fantasy open world. Play as a mage, warrior, assassin, monk, or zephyr. Customize your own weapons and summon companions to aid you in battle. Use the link in the description to start playing now on iOS or Android, and see you hopefully soon. Alright, so I started playing Bloodline Heroes of Lithas in October of 2022, and the game was launched, I believe, in July of 2022, so I didn't start right at the beginning, but pretty close. And you're going to notice that in everything that I show you today, because I've just accumulated a lot of champions and resources and companions over time, and it's not that I'm a whale. I definitely wouldn't consider myself a whale. I'm not in that highest tier of spending by any means, but that's kind of what I find fun and challenging about this game, is that I want to use my resources as efficiently and as best as possible so that I can really compete against the people who are the whales. And I think I've done a pretty good job at that, but I'm not in the highest tier of gameplay because I will not, and I don't spend at that level, so you're just not going to make it to the highest tier unless you're willing to do that. However, I do spend some, and you're going to notice that in some of the things that you're looking at today too. Why don't we start out with the roster? And something that's interesting with Bloodline Heroes of Lithas is that the roster, if you're playing it right, in my opinion, changes a lot. Now, I understand if you really just want to collect heroes and save them and hang on to them. That's not the way I do it. When better heroes come along, I feed away the old ones. If they're not in my top 3 team builds or maybe 4 team builds, I get rid of them because I want to use their resources for my highest tier heroes. So that means vigor transfusion, moving the vigor around and such like that. So and using the equipment efficiently, so I'm not spreading my equipment thin. You can see that I have so far been able to get every Bloodcraft champion except for Ico, who's out, and there's a new one coming now too. I've got like 300 shards of it so far, but these are the Bloodcraft champions that I have at the moment, and you can see that I've got them all paired so that they're level 700s, so I have enough level 700 heroes to do that. I do have a couple of Male Water and Sons that I use, both level 700, but you can see my big one is at Vigor level 105, and that is as of early 2024. I do have a Male Corbett who happens to be my second most powerful hero at the moment, and I'm going to show you some of these interesting hybrids as well. You can see that I made my Corbett red. And if you're wondering how I did that, because I have the Agile trait on him, which doesn't usually make a red hero like this, it's because I went and I put Agile on an Ignis first. And then I married the Ignis to the Corbett. It passed along the Ignis look, but it passed along the Travain trait. I have made videos about how to do that before, so make sure to go look that up if you want to see how to do that. Also, another interesting hybrid, and my third highest level hero is the female Selphos, and I put Corbett on her. And I just think that she looks super sweet like that, like an octopus with wings. So cool. And also the color is really cool too, just like gray metallic all around, just very, very, very nice. But you can see that I have her at Vigor level 77. Let's back out. You can see that another highly vigored hero that I have is the Male Silken Crown at 73. And I don't have him as a hybrid in particular. I've tried a couple different hybrid looks, and I just haven't liked them. I've just kind of liked the original art, so I just kind of went back to that. You can see I have a highly leveled female Galabar here. I've got my female Ho. I've got this guy who I still think people are underrating, the male Akuna. He is good. He is really good. In fact, he's up there. I would say almost as good, or maybe as good as the male Silken Crown. I just don't have him as highly vigored as the male Silken Crown. But I honestly think that those are kind of interchangeable in my top team. I'll get to my teams in a minute. Just kind of like as backup heroes, I've got male Ho. Here's another cool hybrid. The male Sigarka. I also put the Corbett wings on. I just think that looks amazing, by the way. And then I got my female Tide Razor. I can't remember if I think I just liked her look too, so I didn't do a hybrid on her. I did do a hybrid on her. But that's right. I had to put the rapid shot in that slot. And so I put the rapid shot on a Tide Razor and married it so that I could keep the look. It's funny. Yeah, I've got my male Almet here. He is a hybrid as well, just with the agile trait. But yeah, and then this is where my roster really starts to thin out. So I got a female Gultung there, who I don't really use a whole lot anymore, but I do like to use for like the Guardian defense. And then also I've got my female Lionstone here. And then from here, the rest of these are really just kind of ones that I use in districts. So you're not going to see much past that. You can see I have a male Soulkeeper, fully leveled, not leveled, ascended, but not leveled at all, because after I did my testing, he didn't actually make my win rate go up. In fact, my win rate went down with him, but when he won, he just totally demolished other teams. So it's interesting. I think he's kind of an illusion. I did a video about that. Is male Soulkeeper a win more hero? If you want to know what I mean by that, go check that out. But that's exactly why I'm not using him anymore. But I did keep him in case. I just feel like he's a hero where something can come along where he's just absolutely necessary. So I held on to him. So that's it as far as my roster goes there. I should show you some of my equipment on some of my top heroes here. So like the male Water and Sun here. I've got level 25 equipment on all of them. I've got the dodge rune, 3 of them on him, but I've also got the hit rune. I've got 3 of these hit runes, and that's just to make sure that he's landing and doing more damage and all of that. I've also got an extra little strength rune on here too, just to get that stat up as high as possible. And you can see the base stats there are what I have. There are going to be other people that have this higher than I do. There's going to be plenty of people who don't. This is the hero that I spend the most time and resources working on. And then among my other heroes, I do not have equipment leveled up nearly as high on the others. Although you're going to see I do have some leveled to 25. I just tend to do it on the strength and the dodge ones for the others. And that's just because I haven't had enough resources yet to fully level those up. You can see that my female Selphos, her equipment's just not really leveled up all that highly. And of course, male Water and Sun is taking all my mage equipment, so this equipment's not leveled up as highly either. Why don't we take a look at my teams right now too, because you'll be able to see like sort of my synergy, my strategies. I keep 4 basic teams. It's not that I will always run with these teams everywhere. Obviously, I can't because I have 2 male Water and Suns, and that doesn't work in stuff like Luxus or in events where you can only have 1 Sails and Sabers and stuff like that. But this is generally what I run with, my top team being right here. The male Silken Crown, female Ho, female Selphos, male Water and Sun, and male Corbett. And I generally, at this moment, based on the current meta, I'm lining them up like this. And the reason is because that male Silken Crown often gets lined up with the male Water and Sun on the other side from time to time. Not always, but that tends to help. I like to have the female Selphos in the front row because if she gets hit, she throws her ink, and that deals a lot of damage. Plus, I want her to get hit because I want her to not only throw the ink, but to go off sooner so that she can pump the strength of everybody on the team. Yeah, I have the male Water and Sun and the male Corbett in the back. As you might remember, they are among my highest vigored heroes, and so the female Ho is also increasing their strength in the back row a bit there too. So that's just what I did as far as my team number one, my top strategy. Now, my roster number two, you're gonna notice that the power level on this is actually lower than my team three, but this team has better synergy than Team 3. So it tends to win more, which is interesting. But basically, I've got my male Ho and I've got my male Alma up there in the front. And what female Tide Razor is doing is pulling the whole other team into both of their areas of effect, which deal a ton of damage. And then also, Phoenix has some area of effect damage too that she throws in there. And then we got the new guy here too, male Kuna in the back, who's just dealing damage to everybody else. And he does a lot, very controlling. And I might switch where he's at back and forth depending on who's on the other side of the battlefield, because he does a straight line kind of freeze. And so his placement is pretty important. And then, okay, this third team is just kind of like a Chunkus team. Like, I just have this for like Valley of Conquerors and Sails and Sabers, because my female Galabar is just really, 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 really hard to kill. Yeah, so I've got you know the Bloodcraft champion there in the middle. It's also hard to kill, and the male Water and Sun and Bloodstorm in the back, or Scarlet. It's her name's actually Bloodstorm. I don't know if you've noticed that. Scarlet is like the nickname given to her or whatever. But anyway, yeah. And then this team here is just one higher power level. It actually doesn't win as much. It's more for defense. It's a hard team for people to kill. Male Water and Sun keeps the rest of the team alive. So yeah. Anyway, and then my fourth team here. This is really just for expedition bosses, and you know, just dealing a lot of damage, and female Golting keeps them from firing their special and all that kind of stuff. But everybody else here just does a lot of damage for relatively low level heroes. All right, so those are my teams. I'll show you my companions too. These are all the companions that I got over time. I'm very picky about which companions I go after, just because like with the way I play the game, I can't have them all. So I hope to go after good ones. But I got Corbett and Kivak. Corbett, obviously good to play with, but the trait is amazing too. Kivak I went after for the trait. I got Almet, Silk, and Crown, Akuna, and you can see as I'm scrolling across the bottom here what their intimacy and their charm is, like which ones I chose to actually like level up high. Sigaric, Soulkeeper, Crooked Fins. Crooked Fins is probably the one hero I would say is a mistake that I went after. I wish I would have saved my resources on that one. I wasn't really impressed with it. Tide Razors, Ho, Stone Thrower, Bloom Uncounted, Draw Paul. Another one, kind of a mistake. I thought Draw Paul was going to be amazing, but hasn't been. Female Selphos, female Devala, just an absolute monster back in her day, but has kind of fallen by the wayside now. Choir Discordant, Galabar, and then Yivnian, Gultung, Karg, and then all the basic ones here, basically. I just got through like the regular companion favor that you get, and here's all the ones that I don't have and how close I am to getting them. So you can see I don't get every companion by any means, but I go after the ones that I think are going to be good. I think my hit rate on good ones has been pretty good. Next up, I'm going to show you my districts, and you're probably going to be surprised by my districts based on the advice I've given in the past about districts. First of all, if you're a new player in the game, you want to level up heroes for your district first to get ahead on gold, because you will level up faster in the game early on. I do other videos about that. You can make sure to go check those out. But there are particular, especially like base champions that are better for the districts than others. When I click on this, you're going to see I'm not using the best ones. There's a reason for that. My reason for that is that at my level of play, I have gotten to the point with my districts where you can see I'm making 992k per minute. I'm making more gold than I can actually spend. So I don't need to be as totally 100% efficient with the districts as possible. And in fact, most people probably don't need to either. But there is a way to get the absolute best champions for the districts and just level those up. But I'll show you what I got going on with mine. So you can see their levels and everything. And here's the heroes that I have going. I have Male Travain in here. I have Male Travain in here a lot because when I put Noble and Confident on them, they make a lot of gold. They aren't the best hero for this one, but they're the easiest hero to get like fodder heroes for and level them up. The same thing's true with the other districts as well. There's just, you get so many fodder heroes of some of these that I put in here, like Yivnian, for example, is another one that I'm just putting here. And otherwise, I'm just kind of placing my champions in here that I've leveled up for fighting with, right? So, yeah. You can see what I got going on there with that one. Which one did I not do yet? Blue. And then I gotta show you the greens. Yeah, so you can see I have Lionstone. I showed you that one. Okay. And then I've got Griffins in here. Griffins make a lot. It's pretty good. Yeah, so those are my districts and the champions that I have running those. Once you put Confident and Noble as traits on some of those champions, like I'll just go back here and show you as an example, like the Griffins. I just put Confident and Noble on there. You can see it's not ascended as high as the others that I actually fight with, but they make so much more gold because of Confident and Noble. So they can be a lot less leveled. I just get a lot of fodder for them, so I level them up as highly as I can and put Confident and Noble on and make a lot of gold. All right, last thing I'm going to show you is the Guardian Stone. So I'm going to back out and hop in there. And I redo the Guardian Stone based on the meta and which heroes I have, mainly in my like main comp, in my top team. I really cater this to them, although not entirely. You're going to notice I don't actually have any Bloodcraft champions in my main comp at the moment. And yet I still have a lot devoted to them because I do use Bloodcraft champions a lot, just, you know, in as depth and things like that in my other teams. I haven't been using tanks as much recently as I had in the past. I think female Galabar is the best, and well, female Galabar and female Tidebrazer, I use them. They're very important, but I just focused on keeping them alive. So I gave them dodge and damage reduction. Some things that probably stand out to some people here. Notice how I have not put anything on Constitution. Maybe I can reveal one bonus thing to you, which is the masks. I don't feel like I need to put any on Constitution because I just somehow keep getting masks that give Constitution bonus, so I'd rather use these points on something else. Plus, I think Constitution in this game is so overrated. People overrate Constitution so much. That does not keep you alive anymore. It just will delay for a microsecond how quickly you die. It's not doing anything to help keep you alive. This down here, this damage reduction bonus, is so much better than energetic. So I think if I'm getting Constitution in other ways, I really don't need it in the Guardian Stone. I'd rather take the Constitution that I've earned in other ways and then make it harder to take that Constitution away. But I've really focused mainly on dodge as my protective. And then also, of course, I've got strength on my big damage dealing heroes. And then I'm working on hit rate right now on some of these, especially the ones that I have do a lot of damage. So this is how I've allocated things now here. Is it perfect? I don't know. Probably not. But like the meta shifts so much that I do every once in a while change this all around, like reset it and go in and redo it to match my heroes. This is just what I think is working with my team for right now. So here's the bonus one, my masks. And I will tell you that from the beginning of this game, I assumed, because you can only wear one mask at a time, that I would just get the best mask I could and wear that. And then I kind of ignored masks for a little bit. And I really wish that I would have gone and earned more masks because the bonuses stack. Look at them all down here. Every mask you get adds to the bonuses. And you can see this is where my Constitution is. Health of all teammates is increased by 42%. So why do I need to do anything in the Guardian Stone with that? The 42% is like humongous. But yeah, here's what my masks are doing right now. I wish I would have gotten more earlier in the game when I had a chance to get some of these, but I didn't. So now I know I'm just going to get as many masks as I can now. I think that that's as powerful as anything in the Guardian Stone, or the sprites, for that matter. And you know what? Bonus number 2. Sure, why not? I'll show you my sprites too. Sprites give a big bonus to your heroes as well. And so I have them all unlocked, but that's not hard to do, to have them all unlocked. The ones that I've really worked on leveling up. And they all ascend at around the same level too, just because you can't help what sprite shards you get. But I'm focusing on Sprite Hipparin. You can see is at level 250. The Awakened Sprite Hipparin, which is at level 132. And Bulko, the Awakened Bulko, at level 180. And so, yeah, those are my sprites, my masks, and really just my whole account. Feel free to ask me questions if you have any questions in the comments. I'd be glad to answer those. And if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one.